I was put on medication for both depression and anxiety, and to help cope with all of these issues, I also started to self-medicate and I started to party quite a lot. Really from about 15 to about 35, I partied quite heavily. I was always well aware that my partying was definitely an issue, but I just didn't really have the tools or the know-how to get on top of it fully. And really it was the only time when I in the evening had a couple of glasses of wine, it was the only time where I felt free and relaxed, free from the mental clutter that was going on with both the anxiety and depression. When I started to suffer from anxiety, things like being on the tube were very difficult for me. I used to panic with lots of people around, and I didn't really have any coping skills. So the only coping skills I had and could turn to at the time were medication. But I felt very trapped in myself. People that know me now can't believe that I had an inability to communicate, but at one time I did. And the only way I can describe it is that when somebody would say to me, you know, tell me how you feel, like tell me what you're going through and I'll try and help you. And in my head, I could put the words together and the sentences together, but they wouldn't come further than my mouth. And I really felt trapped in myself, you know, unable to communicate how sad I was feeling. And because of that, I used to feel really guilty, and I used to feel really ungrateful for what I had, because if I did mention anything at all about how I was feeling, someone would say to me, oh my God, do you realize how lucky you are? Do you know how many people would love to be traveling the world as a model? Do you know how many people would love to be in your position? And what starts to happen is that you lose your voice and you become afraid to say to anybody how you're feeling, because that's the reaction that you're fearing of getting in return. And people used to say to me over the years, you know, Alison, you know, you still stink a drink. I can smell it off you. And I'd be like, oh my God, it's fine. Everybody was out last night. And what I realize is that the level of what we consider normal is actually not normal at all. So after I had my baby, I also struggled with postnatal depression, and again, medication was the option that was given to me. And because it wasn't about me this time, it was about my child, and I was breastfeeding, I wanted to make sure that that medication wasn't going through my milk and affecting my child. It was when my journey to real wellness began, and I started to research that there had to be more to this. There had to be more answers than just taking a pill, going home and hoping that everything was going to turn out okay. I realized that actually, instead of trying to be better for James and be a better mom, I actually needed to get well for myself first. And it was one of the first times that I really understood the power and the importance of self-care. So mindfulness and meditation are two great, powerful tools that I would use, and there are lots and lots of apps out there that can help. Now, exercise is really important as well when you're dealing with depression and anxiety. Our bodies are made to move. We need to get our bodies moving. We need to also reconnect with each other and the world around us. You also need to look at the type of foods you're eating, believe it or not. You really need to reduce the sugar in your diet. Sugar helps to create anxiety in your body. In the modern world, we don't really put ourselves first, we put everyone else before us. And on my journey to wellness, when I really started to put time into myself, I started to eat better, I started to exercise, but really importantly, I started to value myself, probably for the first time ever. I didn't really have great self-esteem as a model, and I fell into that comparison trap, which is dangerous because there will always be people better and worse than you. I remember sitting on the side of my bed one day, living in my mom's house, and I took a big deep breath. I remember as I let out my breath, I went, wow, I feel really content, probably for the first time ever. And the really big learning in this for me was that I didn't have anything. And now when I mean I didn't have anything, I mean nothing in material. So I didn't have my own home, my own car. And at the time I was struggling to make a living, living on welfare and the bits and pieces of work that came in. I realized in that moment that before this, I'd been looking for happiness in external things outside of myself, but really we have everything that we need inside.